The next question says, which of the following faults would be most likely to cause a shudder condition during the road test? A, torque converter clutch lockup. Oops, sorry, I read that wrong. Torque converter lockup clutch, same. B, weak transmission oil pump. C, planetary gear set shift, or D, torque converter stator slipping. So this is one of those questions I think I would have a hard time with.
Right.
So they're mentioning a shudder condition, right? Similar to jerking, but different. We've got a few answers here that I think might be interesting just to consider. So weak transmission oil pump, I'm not sure how that one would relate.
Well, sometimes jerking can lead to a shudder, and that might be, we can explain that later, but that's a thing. There's a pathology there. But yeah, if we look at each one of these, like you're saying, this might be a little difficult for you to answer. Well, if you look at each one individually, right, don't get overwhelmed. Let's look at that first one, torque converter lockup clutch. Now we know that lockup clutch is going to occur, right, when we're already at speed, generally in the higher gears, right, fourth gear, perhaps higher gears on these modern transmissions.
Yes.
And as we apply that clutch, it's generally pulse width modulated. We don't just lock that clutch up instantly.
Right, you mentioned that before.
Right, so depending on fluid has a big effect here, okay? So different transmission fluids, they can cause this jerking sensation when we're locking up the clutch. If someone uses the wrong transmission fluid, especially on modern transmissions, you can get this. In fact, a lot of the manufacturers have had a lot of trouble. Toyota techs would know this, Honda techs would know this. Very, very common. And Toyota likes to lock up the clutch in all sorts of gears, not just the high gears. So you would get shudders on those, Hondas as well. And oftentimes they'd tell you to change the transmission fluid.
But that would be for the wrong fluid.
Not
You're mentioning
not necessarily.
Not the Honda one you just mentioned, but before you said wrong fluid, in which it can be fluid related, but a weak transmission oil pump?
Okay, yeah, if we're going to go down that, if we're going to go down, the torque converter lockup clutch to me is very, very viable. That could cause a shudder 100%. If we go to the next one, a weak oil pump is likely going to cause slipping. We're going to not have the right transmission pressures, as we're saying, to hold those elements.
Right,
those pistons and servos, all that apply pressure is not going to be correct. So slipping, that's definitely not the shudder.
Right.
Now, if we go down to a planetary gear set chipped, does this happen? Certainly it could happen.
Now, would that cause more of like a sound or a whine,
my
perhaps?
thoughts exactly. We're going to get something else.
Okay.
And it's not going to be the shudder.